Hello 611 class, this is Brian Fullerton doing my clinical review activity on my behavior change project. The title of my project was Increasing Compliance to Chore Demands Using a Task List and Chaining and Schedules for Self-Management. The client that was referred to me was a 32-year-old male who lives in a group home, who has cognitive disabilities as well as ADHD, whom I'll refer to as Roddy in this video. The issue and the target behavior that we were looking at was increasing compliance to demands, specifically chores, which areas of the house that he was responsible for, being the bedroom and the kitchen. The staff had told us that they often dealt with verbal aggression as well as tantrums or simple non-compliance when asked to do these chores. So what we set up was a design to create a task list for both areas of the home, of which Roddy was going to be taught how to do through forward chaining and using prompts as well. The baseline assessment was taken by Roddy being asked to do his chores, and then we would score them as either complete, partial, or incomplete. A complete earned a score of 1, partial was 0.5, and incomplete was 0. And this led to our baseline assessment. When he was asked to do these would be scored. And according to the score, we created a percentage of completed tasks on each list. So for example, with the bedroom, he had a list of 5 things that he needed to complete. They were to pick up his clothes and place them in the hamper. They were to pick up the trash, then empty the trash, make his bed, and then wipe down the surface of his nightstand or desk. In the kitchen, it was to place all cups, dishes, utensils in a sink, turn on the hot water, rinse off the dishes, scrub them with a brush, and then place them within the dishwasher. So during the baseline assessment, as I said, we would score these and came to an average of him in the bedroom completing anywhere from 0 to 20% of the tasks, and then in the kitchen anywhere from 0 to 30% of the tasks. So this led to our treatment phase of the the behavior change project. Within this, what we started with was, as I said, chaining. And we would start with each task on the list, and until Roddy completed it or mastered it, we would move on to the next task. And within that, we use the same scoring method that we used during baseline to calculate the percentage of tasks completed. But within the baseline assessment, anytime he completed anything, it was just a good job, well done. But what we implemented within the intervention phase was a reward system where he would gain access to a preferred activity. In Roddy's case, it was playing video games or was watching something on the television. So we set a target goal of him completing 80% of the tasks would gain him access to this preferred activity, which, as I said, usually came to playing a video game with somebody or watching his television program. As we determined during the baseline assessment and the initial interviews that he was not complying to the tasks because there were no consequences to it, or he was allowed to just simply do what he wanted to do. So it was an escape behavior. So within the treatment phase, as I stated, we set these out with a target goal of 80% of his tasks to be completed. Now during this, we did obtain inter-observer agreement, and within the sessions we came to an agreement within the bedroom of 80% inter-observer agreement of his completion of the tasks and 90% within the kitchen setting. So when we began, as I said, with this treatment phase, we saw a very, very quick increase, which I'll show you in the graph in a moment, of him completing those percentage of tasks. And then we used a multiple baseline across the settings of both the bedroom and the kitchen in order to measure the effectiveness of this treatment. So as I'll show you here now on the graph, as we started with him, we have baseline assessment here, and our completion percentage was fairly low, and this is the bedroom. As soon as we implemented chaining, we saw a very, very quick increase, which went upwards of an average of 88.3% of tasks complete. And then as we added this to the kitchen setting, again our baseline was low, and as we implemented the intervention, we saw an increase in his tasks completed to 92.9% average. Now where this went further is the next step, is we really wanted this to be a self-managing behavior. So we created a schedule of these tasks, and we used a method where Roddy would know that one of us was coming over that day and that these tasks needed to be completed in order to gain access. to his preferred activity. But in this case, we increased it to preferred activities off-site, that if he completed these tasks above a 90%, he would have access to either going to the YMCA, we'd have an off-site trip for shopping, or we would take him bowling. And as you can see from the graph, self-management maintained a 90% or higher when using these schedules across both settings. So the results really gave us desired what we wanted to, where he would complete these tasks and complete them above, like I said, an 80%. But the majority of what I showed you on the graph, he was completing 90 to 100% of the tasks on each list. So where we look to go with this with Roddy is also within his areas of employment, and to create task lists, to create chaining of things that he needs to do by his employer, to kind of generalize this not just in the home setting, but also within the work setting. So far, we've been very, very pleased with his progress, been very happy with what he's done, and found that establishing that reinforcement for him has definitely changed his compliance needs. And this is something that we've used now with the house staff, and we frequently check back up on. So I want to thank you for taking the time watching this video. That's my clinical review activity, and looking forward to viewing yours. Thank you.